Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nneoma Mbalewe and I'm a writer and I'm trying to make a career out of writing stories. So this is a writing vlog. I'm going to be recording my entire process of writing a book. So not a long book like a novel, just a novella. So I'm writing for a competition and the word count is exactly 15,000 words. And I was like, okay, since it's a short story or a novella or novelette, whatever you want to call it, I said, okay, let me just record my process because the deadline for submission is April 28th and the competition has been on since January 1st. And I felt like, let me just record my entire process. That's me brainstorming the idea, writing it, editing it, proofreading it before I submit it. So my entire process. And it's just easier since it's a short story. If it was a novel, like it's going to take like 2 years. And since it's like a 4-month span. And this is already March. This is March what? March 14th. March 14th till April 28th. My entire process of brainstorming a novel, writing it, editing, that second draft, third draft, maybe obviously not fourth draft because it's a short story, and proofreading it. Then maybe if I can, I'll give it to beta readers for them to like comment. Then what else? Maybe I'll print it out if I'm feeling like the vibe. But my entire process. So let me just tell you like the backstory of the whole thing. So December time, I saw one Instagram ad, challenging the writers competition, something. I was like, okay, makes sense. And I checked their website that December, and I'm like, just check back January 1st. That's when the writing prompt is going to come out because it's a contest and has a specific writing prompt. Like I meant to write a story about this particular person. It's meant to be exactly 15,000 words. They've given guidelines and everything. So I saw it December, I checked their page and I was like, okay, makes sense. I shared it to all my writer friends and like, yeah, they make sense because like the price too was there. My friends are like ghostwriters. So 15,000 words is like something you can do in a week. And we agreed that okay, all of us are going to participate in challenging the writers. So January 1st, I checked their website again and their writing prompt was there. And I was like, what kind of writing prompt is this? And me and my friends were trying to like, okay, like how will we make it work? Because it's a very specific writing prompt, yet very vague. Like the things that were meant to be specific were vague, but the things that were meant to be vague were specific. So like you can write a horror story about that thing and somebody else can write a romance story. It can be totally different genres. Do you grab? I've been thinking about it and just be like wondering, like trying to brainstorm. I was supposed to start February. I was actually supposed to start January, but I postponed it to February. And the novel that I'm writing right now, I've not finished it. I was supposed to finish it at the end of February. But because I don't have where exactly to take the story to, the novel that I'm writing, I said, okay, let me just take a pause. And I'll still be productive. I'll be writing. So I said, okay, let me just write this story. So the plan is to write the story, the first draft at least, in 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 days. It's not going to be 15,000 words for the first draft because I know that I'm an underwriter. And usually if I want a story to end up like maybe 80k words, my first draft should be like 50k words. So second draft, third draft, I'll try to build it up, try to explain more, try to describe everything. So I'm thinking 7k words for this first draft. Then we resume school and exams because we're in the middle of the semester. So after exams, I'll now do the second draft. It depends on when exams are because this election thing that they keep on pushing back and everything, it's my affect. But hopefully, I'll finish the second draft after exam and the third draft immediately after. So the writing prompt, let me check their website. You guys, it's April 22 and I'm still at 5,000 words. I was recording before, but like storage was full and I could not like finish recording. So I tried to record it again, maybe like a few days after that. And I forgot that my mic, I had plugged my mic, but the mic was on the table. So the audio was like very terrible. So it's April 22, the deadline is April 28th and I'm still at 5,000 words. So all the claims that okay, I wanted to do second draft, third draft, proofread, print. I don't know how possible that's going to be. So I have 10,000 words to write in the next 8 days, 6 days, and edit it, proofread. So that's the entire like. See, my writing process is like writing at the deadline. Like, Basha, it's okay. We will work it out. I wanted to read the writing prompt for you, but the video cut off because of like storage issues. So I'm going to read it now and tell you how far I've gone. And it's been since that time that I wrote the 5,000 words. I don't know if I updated you that I wrote 5,000 words of that story, but I've not read it. I've not like thought about it. So write an exactly 15,000 word story based on the writing prompts below to compete in the contest. The story begins with the protagonist in transit, Their destination is a fictional urban city named Abso in Nigeria. During the course of the story, the protagonist makes remarkable discoveries about themselves, marks their 30th birthday, forms new connections, and grows in every sense. With this story, the protagonist will bring to life what it means to live life to the fullest. You know, I said that I had recorded before, but the audio was bad. So what I basically said, I was like my brainstorming, what I had been thinking about. I was thinking of the character that I wanted, and my character is a woman now. She's 29, as the story says, and the protagonist will bring to life what it means to live life to the fullest. So I was thinking, okay, let's make a transition of a character that is not the kind of person to live life to their fullest. Maybe like the person is always scared, paranoid, and everything. And slowly, like throughout the course of the short story, like she becomes like a person that is like willing to live life to the fullest. So in the beginning, she's on the train and she's very paranoid, like she left her window open. She's like, what if rat enters my kitchen? That kind of thing, like, because she's going to her office place. She lives and works in different places. So she works in the fictional urban city named Abso, but she lives like on the outskirts, maybe the village side. She's like, oh, rats, cockroaches, like, for the next 5 days I'm at work, like, what's going to happen? So that's when the train breaks down, and she's very, what's happening? Like, she's the kind of person that is like not spontaneous. She's always fixed to routine. So like this train breaking down is a mess for her. Like, it's ruining all her plans because she has like a Wednesday promotion meeting kind of thing. So she has to get up. So the things I've been hinting around in the story is that this is in the future, and like there's a lot of pollution issues. So the only important means of transportations are trains. There are no cars to take them to Abso, and from maybe where the train breaks down to Abso is like maybe like a 2-hour walk or 3, 4, 5-hour walk. And how will she get there? So I have not really like refreshed my brain on the story, since like I have to write maybe the next 10,000 words in 3 days. They try to edit it and proofread it and upload it. Maybe upload it 27th. I don't want to upload it on the deadline because like I always do that. That's it. Like, she's a very paranoid person, and the people that she meets on the way, because she already met one man in the train, and the man is like, everybody was like leaving the train to like go and find transportation to Abso. But the man like watched her like auntie, stand up. He thought that she was special needs because she had been behaving like very special needs, and she has been suspecting him like after this person looks like a pervert, a predator, so she's like, don't touch me, and the guy's like, come now, like, because like an old man, maybe like 60 something, he's a professor, chemistry professor, and she's like, don't touch me, and she's like, come, like, he was trying to like get her like, oh, maybe you're autistic or something, but she's like she thinks that he's a predator. Where I ended was where he dropped her off at the other train station because he has family around the area, and he just like wanted to escort her there. So that's the first person that she meets that helps her like open her mind a little bit, because she's a very, like, she doesn't have friends, her co-workers, she doesn't relate with them. All she does is go to work, come back, like cook, because she likes to bake, she likes to cook, but that's like, she's a very closed off person, and I don't know what made her like that, so I have to like also think about that. So when I read the 5,000 words, I'll get back to you and I'll tell you my thought process on how I'm going to like make the story good. So let's see how I'll finish it. So I just finished reading through, and the place where I stopped was where she had gotten to the train station. So she went to the toilet to go and pee, and she now saw this girl, like a 10-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl, like washing her hands. She was like wearing all pink, bling bling clothes, everything. Pink hoodie, pink shoes, pink everything. So she was like, oh, she just like noticed and continued walking. So she went out to the toilet, and you know these grates on the floor, it's like gutter, all those metal things that used to cover gutters. So she was like carefully walking over it so that she don't have to like fall and everything. So she just brought out her phone, like, okay, let me just check if this phone is working, because I don't know if I mentioned that there's a blackout. So that girl in all pink, she's like 10 years old, now bumps into her and her phone falls into the gutter. And so that's where I stopped. So the plan is that the girl's dad is there. So she's like very pissed, like, oh my god, my phone has fallen into this disgusting gutter. So I want there to be like, let's say like, is he tension? Not tension. I want to hint at a romance story between both of them. But this story is not like a romantic story. It's just like, oh, how they met and everything. So she's very pissed, and even though she sees the dad and like, oh, he's like, this is a fine man, but she's like, this your daughter was like pushed me, she was running, she fell my phone down into a gutter, like everything is so messed up, like how will I get my phone? Even though technically her phone is not even useful because it's like, it's gone, everything is blackout, like what did I even use? Electromagnetic pulse, something like that. I was like, oh, cars, phones, something like that, they're dead. I want her to be angry, but but not angry enough that the father and the girl will not want her to be near them, because the story has to be with both of them. Everything that she's going to go through in this novella is going to be with both of them. So those are the other main characters anyway. So I was thinking of making it like a romantic, but I just want that romance to like a very subplot. You guys, like, I'm here to rant. Like, I'm so I went to the Challenging the Writers website to check for the exact date, because I've been thinking April 28th since, and I was like that seems like a very unusual date. Like, most of the time, if you are any competitions, it's like, let's say 31st, or so, like at the end of the month. So I've been thinking April 28th, and I went to their website. It was actually April 31st, like the very last day of April, and I'm like, why did I think it was April 28th? So it turns out that I've been thinking that, okay, I want it to be April 28th, like I want to submit April 28th, so that's like a few days before the deadline, because like I have the habit of submitting at the deadline, and that's how I managed to convince myself that the actual deadline was April 28th, but it's 31st, and I'm like, oh because I've been rushing. And the other things I saw, they reduced the word count to 10,000 words, and I'm like, how did I not see that? So I went to their Instagram page, and they posted it there, and they posted it in like March. And I'm like, how did I not know? I would have not stressed myself, because like I'm almost done. I'm practically done. And I'm like, hell, like this 10,000 words, like if I had known since, I was just like, okay, be focusing on 10,000 words. But I'm almost done. Maybe like, let's say 500 words to go. But it's not as if like I'm done. So I'm just getting to France, because those two things, like the deadline and the word count, like, I don't know, maybe because these days I've not been on Instagram like that, so like I did not know. So if I had known, but it's okay. So far, they've bonded. The main character, Onome, and John is the girl's dad, and the dad's name is Princess. I don't really like using characters that their names end with S, because I know that in my August Custodian, the last novel that I wrote maybe last year, the main character's husband's name was Osas, and I knew the things that I struggled with, because you know Osas's hands, let's say Osas's, like that apostrophe S. Generally in English language, you're not supposed to, like, you can use the apostrophe S, but some people just use apostrophe, like Jesus with apostrophe. Then you can also do apostrophe S. So I don't like doing it, because I'm like, okay, if I don't put the apostrophe, will people say, oh, this is incorrect? But if I put the apostrophe, just like Isu, irritates me. So I don't know why I still ended up with Princess. The girl that wore all pink that first day, her name is Princess. So she's 10. She's like a very bubbly, outgoing, very social kind of preteen. And then the dad is like, shy dad. I don't know how to describe it. Well, love interest of the main character, but not yet, because they are still building relationships. You know how I said the girl is like a very, I don't want to say composed. Composed seems like a compliment, but I want something reserved. Reserved is a compliment, but like she's locked in. Let's just say locked in. I want the 10-year-old girl, Princess, to be everything Onome is not. So Princess is outgoing. She and her dad went on a camping trip. So she's very outgoing. She's adventurous. She likes saying yes to things. But Onome is like, no, she has her routines. She has everything. So every character I'm introducing is like different facets of Onome. So there's this man that works at the train station. He's well-read, educated man, but he's old. And you're like, okay, why are you working as the gateman, as the cleaner of this train station? So I was like, Onome is going to be going down that path if she doesn't like sit up, or she doesn't like take risks, because the name of the book is Hazards. And I was struggling with the title because I wanted something that reflected the theme of the story. The theme of the story is like going after the things that you want. So if Onome doesn't take risks like Princess, how she is very outgoing and very adventurous and very a risk taker, like Onome is going to end up as the man that she saw at the train station, because in one particular scene, so let me just rewind. So Princess bumped into her that afternoon, and she met John, the dad. She met Princess and everything. So John was like, okay, let's go and look for a hotel around here. Like, let's see if you can stay the night somewhere. But they're in a very remote place. The only places here are huts, villages, farms, and everything. So obviously these villagers are not going to take you into their own home. So they went to the front desk to like, okay, ask, where can we sleep? Is there a room here? Is there a hotel here? And the man was like, sorry for you, there's nothing like that here. there's nobody that is coming for them. There's nobody that is going to pick them up. And they decided to sleep in the train station. Sha. So that night, that's the old man I'm talking about. The old man now comes to them like, okay, you people should go. That their area boy is here. That it will be dangerous for you to stay and everything. So Nneoma now noticed that, okay, this old man, he's educated, he's literate, he's like, he has sense. Like, why is he working as a gate man for a train station in the village? That was just something that she noticed. So she and John and Princess, they went out. They went to go and sleep in the not forest, but like on the main road, but like in the bush. So John and Princess, they are just coming back from camping trip. So they have like their camping gear, they have tents, they have sleeping bags and everything. So they are sleeping there. That's when the electricity returns. And okay, power is back on. They're now running back to the train station. So they get to the train station and the transformer blows and like it explodes. And I don't even understand the science behind it. But like maybe when electricity is too much. So the transformer explodes and John is there. Like he was going to go quickly off it because it was making a loud, scary noise. So he was now in the line of the explosion. And he was unconscious for like a few seconds or a few minutes. The main thing is that I don't have the mental strength to like tell you the whole story. But by the time they announce the winners, maybe I'll read it out in a live, or maybe I'll just share a link. Because to tell the whole story is like, well, long story short, they spend, let's say, one night and one day outside. In the end, Nneoma gets up, so that was like the destination she was heading to before. And she's just contemplating about her life, the people that she met. She met the old professor in the beginning. She met John and Princess, because the fact that John was not afraid of like taking his daughter camping, because I don't know if I explained this, but like they are in the future, so there's a lot of pollution, a lot of health hazards. And she liked the fact that John was not afraid of taking his daughter like out for risky things in Nneoma's head, but they're not really risky. Then she met that old man in the train station, the one that was literate. Then she met another a rebel. So that kind of person is, all these Hunger Game revolutions, rebels, all those kind of things. So there are people that are against the government, like trying to like fight for the rights of the people, like because there's pollution and everything. So she now met another person like that. So the whole point of the book was like, okay, Nneoma should not be so afraid of everything, because there are like a lot of dangerous things, and you can never expect which thing is going to like affect you. So just take risks, or it end up like that old man at the train station who probably did not take risks, and he ended up working there in his 70s, despite the fact that he has been educated and everything. So that's the main story. It's a few days after the deadline. So I've submitted, and I let it submitted, let's say, so deadline was Sunday midnight. That's like the Sunday night before Monday. So I submitted Saturday night, the midnight. And it's a paid competition. I don't know if I said that. So you pay 1,000 naira. And I paid and everything. So that's why I paid, though, all for me to wake up Sunday morning. I'm like, wait. I paid. I did not upload the book. I paid. I don't upload. Like, after I paid, I paid with, Flutterwave. And he led me to the Flutterwave website. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. All for me to wake up, I'm like, I did not upload the book, because like that's the main thing. I meant to pay, then upload the book. That's how 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, I'm like emailing them like, urgent uploading error or something like that. Like, please, I paid, I did not upload my book. Like, please tell me what's happening. No, like, let me quickly upload my book. So that's how after church, I saw their email. Like, okay, sorry about that. Then I sent a link. Like, okay, you can upload it like this and everything. So I uploaded my book. I want me to go to their Instagram page and like, okay, now we noticed that plenty of people have paid but they have not uploaded. That uploading is a criteria that you cannot, once the deadline, once like it's Sunday midnight, you cannot upload the book again, even though you have paid. And I'm like, so if people did not even remember, or they don't notice, or they'll think, okay, maybe I've paid, maybe they will ask me to come and submit personally or something like that. And that uploading thing, I was expecting something swift, but you go to the submission page, you fill in things about your book, your name, things like that. Then you now like do your regular, fill in your card details, everything, then OTP and everything. It was just like a very, so imagine somebody wants to submit 11:50 on the day of deadline, and like, oh, people should be fast, people should be fast. Then 10 minutes later, like, okay, sorry, too late. Because that thing is like, it should have been swifter. I don't know, but I'm not a tech person, so I don't know how swift it would have been. So I submitted. It was okay. On their website, they said they'll announce the winners 6 months after the submission deadline. I'm like, do I really have patience? But so by the time they what's the name, announce the winners, should have forgotten about the competition. But I'm not going to read the story or share the story until they've announced the winners. And on their website, so they said like, okay, if you want to share the story, you must have like a backlink to their prompts. Like, okay, this is the thing that inspired the story, kind of thing. So I'm just waiting for them to announce the winners. If I end up winning, if I don't end up winning, I'll still share it. Yeah. So I don't know if that was like my entire process. If I wanted more of I wanted more details, I wanted more specificity like to my process, but because it was a short story and I was just doing I could not even really edit second draft. I just said that I wanted to do second draft, third draft and everything, but it will make more sense with a full-length novel than with a short story, and a short story on deadline because like I was rushing. But I was reading through the story again. I was like, oh my god, there are so many typographical errors. Upon I edited it, like proofread it, I'm like, well, it's where they'll manage. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, like the video, and share it with a friend. So till next time.